Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a lot of news that were coming up, which you can see here. For example, the official GoFest t-shirt got released, but there are way more exciting news that actually came up during the night as well as yesterday evening. For example, one of them is going to be that Niantic released a new trailer now officially showcasing that Necrozma is coming for the GoFest, and also we have more details for it. Here we're going to see Necrozma in action, which is kind of very well made, but this is something I kind of want to point out here as well, because this was definitely made intentional, but we're going to take a look at this one afterwards as well. Here we're going to see, for example, some GoFest information as well, where we're going to get all the different kind of Ultra Beasts, a different kind of GoFest. We're going to see here as well that we're going to get the Necrozma in every single GoFest possible. So already in Sendai, which is already in like 1.5 months or something, we're gonna get Necrozma into the game. So very likely we're gonna get the moveset of this Pokemon very soon in the game as well, which I'm going to make another video. But otherwise we're gonna see what Pokemon going to be available in different regions, which is kind of cool. And that's not only it, because also the Ultra Beast is going to be shiny. As you can see here, this will, like the different ones will be in like different kind of GoFest, but it's going to be for ticket holders only. So if you get like raid invites or whatever and you really want a shiny, hold on to them until we have the global GoFest, because before they will not be able to be shiny. But you can still get 3 remote raids, most likely normal Necrozmas already early on, so I'm definitely going to try to showcase that one on this channel as well, so feel free to subscribe if you have not already. But yeah, it's going to be exciting in general. Very cool shinies, a very cool Pokemon itself. But let's take a look real quick at the move that we found. So basically there are 2 signature moves to Necrozma in the game, and this one here looks very familiar to a certain one, which you're gonna see very soon. Here, there are going to be 2 of them. One is Photon Geyser, which looks a little bit different, which I'm kind of sad that this is not going to be it, because this is also the one that we would need for Ultra Necrozma. So basically in the main series games you have like a Z move, which you don't have in Pokemon Go yet, which I'm curious if we're gonna ever see this one, because you have Mega Evolutions already, why not Z moves? But basically you're going to need the move Photon Geyser in order to get the Ultra Necrozma, which you're going to take a look at later on as well. And here we're going to see the move that's going to be. So Prismatic Laser is going to be most likely available for Necrozma. I could see them going to lock this again for people that buy a ticket for Necrozma, which we had basically already for Dialga and Palkia, where the signature move was locked behind a ticket. So I could see them doing this again just to generate more monies. But this is going to be a very powerful move with like 160 damage in the main series games. I would imagine that it would be something very hard hitting in those games as well. Would be interesting if you're gonna get Psycho Cut on this Pokemon. If you have like something that really hits hard and you have some decent bulk on this Pokemon, actually could work out pretty well, so I'm excited for this. But you have to of course see when we're gonna have more information towards this one, but it seems like that Necrozma, based on what we see in the trailer, gonna get this move. This in the trailer is intentional, like they don't do this just for fun or whatever. They definitely have an idea behind this, so like I'm fairly certain that Prismatic Laser is going to be available for Necrozma as soon as you're gonna get this Pokemon released. I would imagine it's also going to be locked behind like a paywall again, but like they don't do this like unintentionally. Like, there's definitely some reason behind it. So otherwise, we're going to have here some old news already, which I kind of want to talk about, because we're talking about moves that got added anyway. Sunsteel Strike got added already March 6th, basically in the code. Basically just I think the effects for it. There's no stats for it yet, which we're gonna cover on this channel as well, of course. But so Solgaleo and of course Necrozma fused form, which we're gonna have to talk a little bit more about later on as well, going to have this move, which is going to be an interesting one for sure, because it's going to be a very solid move and going to upgrade Solgaleo basically guaranteed. Like Iron Hit is currently the 2nd best move for Solgaleo, and Iron Hit is pretty bad. So this is going to be exciting, also something that's most likely going to come for the GoFest. Then we're going to have the same basically a little bit later, like a month later, for Lunala, which got found in the code as well, with Moongeist Beam, which is their signature move. So a lot of signature moves coming for the GoFest, very likely here. And of course it does make sense it's already in the code, because the first GoFest starts already at the end of May. And so they kind of have to prepare if they want to release it there, and I'm fairly certain they want to release it for the in-person GoFest especially. I'm not too sure if you're going to be able to get them if you're outside of those regions, but it is what it is. That's Niantic for you. But just kind of something I want to showcase here as well. And then we're going to have fusions. As we talked already beforehand a little bit, fusions are coming to Pokemon Go, and there are a lot of things towards fusions now in the code. So, you can't trade Pokemon in fusions, which does make sense as well for it. And we're going to have all the different kind of fusions here as well. If you're going to take a look at this, we're going to have here Lunar Fusion Energy for this one, Solar Fusion Energy. So you're going to get like new items for this, which we're going to take a look at afterwards as well. So that's going to be interesting. You're going to have an Unfuse button, basically fusion. You have to put two Pokemon together, which we're going to see anyway for that if you are not too familiar with the main series games, in order to create and use stronger Pokemon. And here we're gonna see one, of course, here for Duskmane and Dawn Wings Necrozma, which are those kind of texts. So we're gonna get some special energy for them, and you're going to be able to unfuse them for no cost usually, but you have to most likely fuse them for a lot of cost. We're gonna have here Calyrex as one of the Pokemon that can fuse, which you can see here as well. They're going to have another one here with Spectre and Glastrier, which you're going to take a look at as well. We got Kyurem Black and Kyurem White. If you don't remember, we had those Pokemon available in the game for a short amount of time, just bugged in the beginning of this year, which I made a video about as well, where someone got a Kyurem Black and powered it up all the way up to level 50, which is on my channel. So that was on a bug, but we're going to be able to fuse them very, very soon, which it does make a lot of sense. And here's again, like, there's going to be the unfused text for basically all of the Pokemon here, which is kind of interesting. But let's take a look at something else, because there were some stuff found in the code as well, which are temp files, basically, so temporary placeholders for certain kind of things. And here we're going to have something like fusion icon or fusion confirmation model icon, which is going to be something that you're going to see on the screen when you want to fuse a Pokemon. And it does make sense that this is going to be already in there. So placeholders are going to be in case of that. And here we have two other placeholders, which are now in fusion resources, which I would imagine are going to be those energies that you need, like solar fusion energy, lunar fusion energy. I would imagine that those are going to be basically the temp files for this one, which does make sense. There are only two of them as well that don't have a name. So those are going to be items that most likely going to come into the code very, very soon, which will allow you to fuse Pokemon, which is going to be very interesting. Otherwise, we're going to have Necrozma. We took a look at Necrozma recently anyway in a video, so check that one out if you want to have a little bit more information. Here we're going to see the max CP of this one, but you can fuse it with Solgaleo to get one that has 500 more CP and Psychic Steel typing with the Duskmane Necrozma. And if this Pokemon gets like signature moves from both sides, that would be kind of wild. I'm not too sure if you can actually learn Prismatic Laser with this Pokemon. I doubt you... I don't know. Most likely you can actually learn Prismatic Laser with this Pokemon as well. But depends, of course, on the Antic if they're going to introduce it. But this Pokemon in the main series games is one of the strongest one that you can play, which is kind of wild. So definitely something interesting. This Pokemon here is going to be the Dawn Wings Necrozma, which is also a very solid Pokemon. Most likely not as ideal unless we're going to get a new fast move in the game for this Pokemon. But definitely Duskmane going to look awesome. Like, honestly, like, those going to look really crisp on the Pokemon Go graphics, I would say. Like, I can't wait to see the 3D model for Pokemon Go for this one in action, because they usually look like fantastic. And also the shiny looks really cool. I don't know if you can see it here. You cannot really see it, but yeah, they have a crazy cool shiny as well. You don't have it in here. That's kind of embarrassing, but definitely something that I'm kind of looking forward to. We have Ultra Necrozma, of course, which we took a look already before and took a look at what this could do in PvP. Again, we would need most likely Photon Geyser in order to get this Pokemon, and like some kind of special effect or whatever, and more like something like a Mega Evolution than anything else. I hope that we're gonna see it eventually in the game, because it looks just like fantastic. Like, this would look so cool in like raid battles or whatever, but it's currently kind of unlikely. I don't think it's going to be part of anything soon. Then we're going to have the White Kyurem, which we had already in the game for a little bit of a short amount of time, where we actually have already the moveset here as well. If we take a look a little bit closer here, we have like Steel Wing, Ancient Power, Focus Blast, Dragon Breath, like a lot of kind of good moves here actually for this Pokemon. And it was actually very solid already when it got first released. It was not overpowered though, but it was one of the strongest Pokemon for the Open Master League. Same goes for Kyurem Black, which actually learns even Shadow Claw, which is kind of wild, and Dragon Tail, and has also a very decent moveset. Very high energy moves, which is kind of great for this Pokemon, because otherwise they would be too overpowered. Those would also learn signature moves eventually, so it's going to be an interesting thing as well for them. So definitely something that is going to be exciting, looking forward to. And if you think about it, you might have to invest into more raids for Kyurem, and you might have to invest into more raids for Necrozma, and you might also go for more raids eventually for Calyrex, when this ever going to be available in the game, which you're going to talk about a little bit later. Because if you want to have a Kyurem Black, and a Kyurem White, you need like at least like 3 Kyurem at level 50 if you want to use it for the Master League. And this is going to be something that, of course, is going to give Niantic quite a lot of money, but going to be something that is going to be interesting moving forward. So like the next time you encounter Kyurem in the lead, or like in the lead in the raid, or also the Necrozma, which is coming up now anyway, maybe try to do a lot of them, because maybe you want to have a Dusk form and a Dawn Wings form both available to you, because otherwise you have to, like you can, of course, fuse them, unfuse them, it's going to cost you some energy most likely, which is going to be a little bit awkward on the long term run, so depends on what you want to do, of course, but it's going to be interesting. You know what's also interesting is going to be Calyrex. Calyrex is going to be a Pokemon that's most likely going to have next to no play in PvP, most likely not even like lower ranks. Same typing as Celebi with Grass and Psychic, or also the Great Execute, which is of course the most important Pokemon in the world. But this Pokemon gets to 2500 CP, has kind of decent bulk to be fair, but the typing itself is kind of awkward to play, I would say, but it can fuse as well. We actually know the moveset here of them already in the game. I didn't even know this. So we have Confusion, Psyshock, Energy Ball, most likely not really usable, but it's going to be an interesting Pokemon nonetheless. It's not going to be anything that's going to break the meta. We're going to have Spectra here. This is going to be a little horse, which is going to get up to 3800 CP with a ton of attack stat, which is kind of interesting. Pure Ghost type has Tackle, Takedown, Shadow Ball, Foul Play, and Bulldoze, so pretty bad moves. I would imagine that they're going to give it a better fast move eventually, because Tackle is not really cutting it. And then we're going to have the Ice part here, which is going to be Glass Ray, which actually gets to some decent CP. Pure Ice type, though, is going to be a little tough to play because it has a lot of weaknesses. Also, Tackle, Takedown, I would imagine that this is kind of placeholders, but Ice You and Avalanche, Bulldoze might be interesting, but if they're going to tackle away downtown, that's going to be fun. But those can fuse, as we saw before, into Calyrex Shadow Rider. And look at those CP, like this thing is definitely no joke. This Pokemon has 324 attack, insane 4 PvP as well then. And we're gonna see here it has Confusion, Psyshock, Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, a lot of kind of more fast moves and charge moves here as well. So Psyshock, Confusion, then most likely Shadow Ball or Energy Ball, depending on the coverage, most likely Shadow Ball, going to be ideal for this Pokemon. So that's going to be wild. And for the Calyrex Ice Rider, we're going to see as well that the moveset is going to be then already in the game as well, with again the kind of the moveset of the Calyrex, as well as then some parts, of course, with the Avalanche coverage here of the Ice Rider, basically, which is going to be interesting. Honestly, those Pokemon are going to be wild. We can actually take a look at PvPoke real quick as well, because I did not know prior that the movesets are already in there. So we can go for Calyrex and go for the Ice Rider, which you can see here, the ideal moveset, which I also would agree with. And then you can go for the Calyrex, and then we can... Oh, actually, it's not in here like this. Apparently, a PvPoke doesn't have the other variant on here yet. I think that is kind of bugged, but I guess like it doesn't really matter because they're not available yet. But as you can see here, the Ice Rider definitely going to have a lot of potential in PvP. I think that the Shadow Rider would also definitely have a lot of potential as well, based on these sets, which are kind of even better, I think. Yeah, they're kind of better than the ones before, a little bit less bulk, of course. But Shadow Ball's coverage is also going to be great, so this is going to be exciting. Like, there are going to be a lot of fusion Pokemon coming up. Let me know in the comment section what do you think about it. Of course, if you enjoy this type of videos where we talk a little bit about news, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.